My book's coming out in April, and I'm excited to be finishing that. Let's hope I actually finish the dang thing in April. Now, I want to talk about two things in this video. The number one thing is what I've noticed since I've started going to the gym and not working out in my cold ass garage because it's just too dang cold out there. Is I've noticed that there are these people that go to the gym, you know, and I have a little bit of rest time in between my sets. For the most part, though, I can see people in different, you know, since I started running 3 miles on the treadmill, I found these great new treadmills that have really thick track like a tank, and rubber track on them that go around. And I mean, the damn thing looks like a tank. I can't remember what they're called, but anyway, these things simulate actually like you're actually running down a path on or a road, and they feel a lot easier on the feet and the knees than a normal regular treadmill. Anyway, where am I going with this? So I'm looking around the cardio room or the cardio area in my gym, and I see all these people, and this is typical. You remember the statistics. 80% of the people don't even work out. 20% of the people work out. 15% work out, and only a certain percentage of those people, maybe 50% of those people, actually know what they're doing, if that. And then the other people don't. So yeah, for the most part, most of the people in the gym, or let's say in the cardio area, don't know what they're doing. And they spend too much time in the cardio area. So I spend like about 8 minutes warming up on the treadmill, going for a high intensity run right before I lift weights. So I don't want to burn off all my glycogen, and I don't want to wear myself out. So I only spend about 8 minutes warming up. Boom, I go into my workout. I do my weight training for about 70 minutes, you know, and that could be compound movements and that could be isolation movements combined. I don't like to separate isolation and compound movements and keep them all together in my workouts because I'm targeting specific body groups and I want to completely exhaust those muscles. And if you're worried about getting cardio in, or if you're worried about burning off fat, all you got to do is decrease your rest time in between sets, and that's one way to get more cardio, to get your heart, your blood pumping. And people don't think about stuff like that. They think, well, I got to do my cardio, and then I got to do my... No. I'm running for a specific reason on those treadmills, which is I got Battle Frog coming up in June, and I'm trying to train myself to be able to run 5 miles. Otherwise, I hate running. Most of my cardio on my split routines I usually get from decrease the rest times by supersetting. You just find some other body exercise to go and do and put intensity into while that muscle's recovering. So one example is, let's say a day you're doing back and biceps, right? Like yesterday I just did, was it yesterday? No, it was the day before. Yesterday I did chest and triceps. So I go in there and I don't rotate a chest exercise with a tricep exercise. I don't superset those exercises because you don't want to wear your arms down before you do your, oh yeah, you know. You don't want to, let me just get the supination, there you go. You don't want to wear your arms down before you get back on the chest exercise, or before you get back on, let's say if I'm doing biceps, you don't want to do biceps and then go start doing pull-ups because you're not going to be able to do as many pull-ups. That's a very compound, you know, calisthenic movement that requires energy, lots of energy. So if I have movements like that in my routine, the first thing I'm going to do is the heavy, nasty compound movements because I have the most energy to perform those exercises. Then I'm going to move on to the isolation exercises toward the end of the workout to target specific muscle groups to stimulate growth. It's not the fact that I mean, isolation exercises have a bad rep, and I write about it in my book and how they're a waste of time, and they're a waste of time for intermediate and beginners, but they're not a waste of time for advanced people that are in an advanced type workout. If you've been working out for over a year, then you're ready. You're ready for those kind of isolation exercises that just push the muscles just a little bit further at the end of the workout so that they will grow more. Because eventually your growth plateaus, your fat loss plateaus, right? And why does it plateau? Let's talk about why it plateaus. And it has something to do with one word. One word can sum it all up, and that word is intensity. Intensity. Many people do not put enough intensity into the exercises that they do. You'll just see them banging out their normal number of pull-ups, or they're banging out their 6.5 mile per hour run on the treadmill, or they're, you know, I'm looking around. Most people do not run like me on the treadmills. I look around at most people and I'll do a mile before, like I said, 2 miles after the workout. I don't want to burn myself out before the workout. Sometimes I just skip the mile and do 3 miles after the workout because I'm really paranoid about wasting my energy. Okay. I mean, I'm almost 37. I'm not as young as I used to be. So, okay. These people, they're not doing the intensity. You look around the cardio machines there. There are these older ladies there, these bigger ladies, these bigger guys. They jump on the cardio equipment, and you can tell they need help. They got the weight to lose, and they're just literally they're on like level 1 or level 2 on the cardio equipment, or they're just going like a snail. They're just or they're talking to their friend. Let me tell you, it used to be in the 80s and 90s, well, you got to be able to carry on a conversation with your buddy or your friend, or you're just working too hard. You don't want to wear out your heart. That's bullshit. If you can carry on a conversation while you're exercising, while you're doing a set, or while you're running on your treadmill, you're not running fast enough. Are you there at the gym to gossip and talk? Are you there to stare at a TV screen or listen to music? Or are you there to perform intensity, to perform work and intensity in order to accomplish muscle growth and fat burn? The only way you're going to accomplish fat growth on the treadmills and the bikes and all that equipment is if you're performing high intensity. You need to increase, like if you're on a bike or an elliptical or something like that. I mean, I don't like those machines. Sometimes I'll use an incumbent bike, stationary, and I crank up the intensity. I'll put the dang thing on level 20 or level 15, and that's how I do my cardio routine. And the reason is because that level of intensity, if you can increase the amount of RPMs you're doing, that's going to burn more fat. You're doing a hell of a lot more intensity than the next person to you. Look at all the other people in the gym. Look at all the other people using that equipment. They're all doing level 2, level 5. They're just going at a steady pace, steady state cardio. No, what you want to do, you want some steady state cardio, great. Kick up the intensity. You need to be breathing heavy. You need to be dying on that machine. Like if you're not breathing that heavy, then you're not working hard enough. If you don't think in your mind, this might be the day where I have a heart attack, then you're just not working hard enough. That should be running through your head when you're on that equipment. Like you should be thinking, I think I'm pushing it too far today. That's good. You want to push it too far. You're not going to have a heart attack. Chances are you are not going to have a heart attack. Your body's going to shut you down and stop you before you have a heart attack and go, no, that's too much, and you're going to be breathing so heavy, oxygen's not going to be getting to your heart because it's going to your muscles. You're going to have to turn the intensity down. You're going to have to go from a 8.0 on the treadmill to a 7.5 or 7.0, and you're not going to get the intensity done. You will get it done for a while, but your body will shut you down before you have a heart attack. I promise you. I promise you, you're probably not going to have a heart attack. I mean, if you're morbidly obese, if you're 300 pounds and you're trying to do this technique, then I'd probably advise against it. If you're not 300 pounds, then disregard that and perform with high intensity. Now, the second thing I noticed is in the weight room. This is more for the guys, but it's for the ladies too. A lot of people will scurry away from the weight and be afraid to add weight to those exercises. They'll be afraid to push themselves to high intensity. You want to add weight on certain sets. Certain sets, you could add weight if you got your weight down. You could add weight on dips, pull-ups to your body weight to perform the exercises with more intensity or more heavier weight. You could add weight. People are adding weight. The bodybuilders, the people that look amazing. These guys, not the ones that are juicing on testosterone, but the ones that are natural. Now, these people are adding weight consistently, and it's called progressive overload, right? There's other ways to do progressive overload. It's not just the weight. If you don't like adding the weight, if you're older and your joints hurt, you don't have to do that. You can just add a moderate level of weight or a light level of weight. But let's say you're doing bicep curls. Let's say you're standing. I like standing bicep curls. The one thing I do with bicep curls is, I'll bend over and I'll do a concentration curl, so I'm bent over. But the only times preacher curls can isolate. If you're seated, you're sitting in that chair and you're doing the preacher curls and keep that ass down, right? Okay, that's the only time you're really going to isolate those biceps really well on an isolation exercise and actually make a difference when in a seated position. Otherwise, you should be standing in a nice, erect, normal position, which incorporates your body having to stabilize itself, use some of its core, and perform the exercise so you get more bang for your buck in a shorter amount of time. Let me check my time. Okay, I'm at 10 minutes. This video is taking way too long again. I always make these long-ass videos. I have no idea if people are actually watching them. Okay, nor do I care. So, but really, let's finish this then. The intensity needs to be there, no matter what you're doing. You could set it at a lightweight. You can set it at a lightweight, and you could take a set of weights, and you could do explosive lifting. Let's just use the bicep curl as an example for everything. You could do explosive lifts on a light weight, and this is going to stimulate, using this explosive type method, this will stimulate a better pump in your muscles, and it's going to stimulate muscle growth because you're forcing your muscles and your motor neurons to do something they don't normally do, which is to explode the weight up and come back down slowly. So you explode the weight up and come back down. The slow negative eccentric contraction grows more muscle, right? So if you're doing the speeded up, explosive contraction stimulates muscle growth on the concentric. Now that's one way to do it on the lightweight. The other way to do it is, I see a lot of people doing this, and they're not pushing themselves hard enough. They're doing this light-ass weight, and they're sitting there barely working out, getting one set done, going, I got 5 sets to do of biceps and 4 sets of leg press, and no. You don't need 4 to 5 sets. What you need is to push yourself with exertion beyond intensity. You need to be sitting there exerting the shit out of this weight. So if you're sitting there doing light reps, guess what? You're going to be pumping out 50 reps, 30 reps, 40 reps, I don't care, but you need to keep lifting that set until, let's say you only have 40 pounds on the bicep curl. That's not much for a guy, that's a little bit for a lady, that's a little bit. Let's say you got 40 on the cable curls, right? You're sitting there doing cable curls. Now, I'm sorry, but you're going to need to be here for like 30 to 35 to 40 repetitions. You need to be dying on that final repetition where you're sitting there. I don't care if it's lightweight. You need to be sitting there going, ah. You don't have to make a lot of noise, like, oh, like some of those guys, oh. But you need to be making your own personal noise in your head, like, fuck, oh. Like, it needs to be difficult, and you need to be in pain, and that lactic acid needs to be flushed inside those muscles when you're done. That's how you know. That's how you know when you have to stop. Is when the lactic acid builds up, you can't possibly go any further. You push those muscles to failure, and then you have to rest the muscles by just go and do something else. You don't need a compound set or a super set of the same muscle group. You need to go over and do legs, or you need to go do abs. You need to go do something else in between that muscle group so you can give that muscle time to recover, but you're not letting your heart recover. You're not letting your lungs recover. You keep the cardio going. You keep the pump. You keep the pump of your whole body going. You keep the blood pumping by continuing to be in motion. It's called metabolic resistance training. You continue to be in motion and doing stuff, and don't give yourself much of a break. That creates even more intensity for your heart and your lungs and your circulatory systems. You don't need to do as much cardio. Literally, the only amount of cardio I'm doing is an 8-minute run and then a 20-minute run after my training session. And that's all that. I mean, not even 20 minutes. 18 minutes, 8 and 8. 8 and 18 is like 20, so 26 minutes total. That's my cardio. I don't even do 30 minutes of cardio. I do 26 minutes. But and I'm sitting right around, 16% body fat. So I'm dropping. I'm trying to drop it as best I can. Anyway, I think this video is taking too long here. Yeah, but that's what I've noticed, is people just don't put in enough intensity. That's what I want to talk about today's video, is intensity. And like you see these guys, these fat dad bod guys that's sporting that fat dad bod, they're training their sons, they're training their daughters, and they're pushing them, or the moms are doing it, and they're fat. I've seen fat moms training their skinny kids how to do yoga, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You need to go get a personal trainer, get yourself in shape, and learn something from that trainer or whoever, and then train your kid. If you're a fat dad, you need to go get a trainer because you don't know what you're doing. If you're fat and you're in the gym, and you're trying to train somebody, you don't know what you're doing. You are not qualified to train somebody. If you are overweight in the gym and you're trying to train somebody, you are not qualified. I'm sorry. You need to get in shape first and then train your kid. That is not a good example to go in there and be like, this is how you do bench presses, son, or this is how you do the planche. You're not going to do planche, lady. You're not going to do planche. You're not going to hold a plank for more than 20 seconds, or 30 seconds with all that fat hanging off you. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's something wrong with you trying to push your kid, and then you get frustrated. I see these parents getting frustrated with their kids, and that's just the ego. You're really getting frustrated with yourself because you're overweight and you're trying to make your kid do something that you can't even do. So I see crap like that all the time. I just want to be able to walk up to them and be like, and just fat slap them. Stop talking to your kid that way. It's like you